Welcome back to Pack the Rock Podcast in Hard Rock Stadium. Wow. I just really wanted to show that logo off, that's why we're kind of halfway on the screen right now, which I'll fix in a second. But first, Indiana has just won their first ever national championship as the undefeated Indiana Hoosiers, 16-0, the first team in the modern era, emphasis on the modern era. 16-0 Indiana Hoosiers, they just beat number 10 Miami, 27-21 here at Hard Rock Stadium. William Stewart, Ava Wegenke, Ian Plaskoff, and Nick Rodecap alongside you with the Hoosier Network here at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm still in shock. I don't know what the group consensus is, but I will let you ramble on the feelings right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this game ended, I don't even know how long ago it ended, but all of the excitement and the feeling and the energy and the emotions are very much still lingering. They're still here. It's crazy to say this. It really is.
I was on the field following the 2-minute timeout, and that was when Jamari Sharp made the interception, and then from there, I couldn't tell you what happened.
I think Indiana won a football game.
That did happen.
That's what I know.
This atmosphere was unbelievable. This stadium has big game feel. Indiana fans showed up as expected. It was loud. There were Heisman moments. There were ridiculous plays that you just can't imagine, and that's just how this team is. It's a team of destiny, and it finished its season in that sense.
If we were playing NCAA 14, this game would be an ESPN instant classic with a replay score of like 17,000. And this game had everything. We've had some blowouts in the Natties in recent years. We've had some close games, but this one was amazing. It was a nail biter. It was more than a nail biter. I honestly thought Mark Fletcher broke off whatever it was, a 55-yard touchdown run or something. And the way Indiana's offense stagnated for a little bit in the third quarter, I got nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was on the WIUX broadcast, and I was very nervous. But this team did what they've done all year. You get punched in the mouth, you get back up, you respond, your playmakers, and you get it done. And that was the story of the season. And you could not sell this as a movie script because it was too perfect.
Hoosiers 2 will be coming shortly to theaters, one would imagine, or at least maybe Netflix.
You could also go with the title. You could do a bunch of things. You could go Google Me. Oh. You could go on. Sig has
They
so
win.
many things. You could do anything. But this story is too ridiculous and too perfect and too good to be true that any fictional movie will do it justice. It will not. Only a documentary will, and I cannot wait for when that happens.
I'm going to put all of you on the spot. We're going to have to reflect upon 16 games of football, a couple of bye weeks, maybe an extra season if you want to go that far back. Your favorite moment from covering IU football in the Cignetti era? And everyone,
You're going first.
I'll go first.
I'm going first. You know what? I got a pretty easy answer. It's something along the lines of packing a rock in a Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, after Indiana football just went 16-0 and won a national championship. I didn't think that was a thing that would ever happen in my lifetime. I didn't think I'd be at a Natty, whether it's in pads, whether it's in a reporter, whether it's in a broadcast production. I didn't think I'd be here. God bless it, here we are. Thank God for the IU Media School and Pam Witt and Scott Dolson and Kirk Cignetti and the entire Indiana football team. Here we are. That's my favorite moment. It's good.
I would say if it's from this season, I would say that the pure bliss after this team beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. I feel like that moment almost compares, not quite. This moment will always be top, but almost compares to just the bliss that it feels right now, and that it's just so surreal. It's almost unreal that. We get to cover this, let alone be students at Indiana and get the opportunity to cover this, but it's just, this is something that you don't really see, and in moments like this, you kind of, it's surreal.
Rook.
Rook.
A whole 1 year on the beat. Not bad.
I've seen worse performances.
You're welcome. Indiana football is undefeated and is a 100% one of one on national championships since Ian Plaskoff is covering the team full-time on a beat. There you go. No, this team.
What a humble crew I put together.
I know, humble.
Wow.
No, this team is so special, and it's so sad that it's over. But the moments that this team has had, I can't pick one. And I know that's a sucky thing to say at this time when I'm prompted
It's a
with
fair
my favorite
answer.
moment. I'll give at least a few. Elijah Surratt's touchdown at Iowa, that really was like, all right, this team has something to it. That came after Illinois. Omar Cooper's catch at Penn State. I was in
Touchdown! Wow! Give him the Heisman!
I was
Can't stand still for this
in
one.
that end zone, feet away from where that happened, and watching that drive develop while I was on the field was special. Every postseason game, like, this is just uncharted territory for this team. One for each. I know that this is. I've been in a mental blackout state. For
All right, that means wrap it up.
Okay,
Nick,
all right.
Nick,
All right, the Rose Bowl Hoosiers chant led by Signetti. That was a big one. Katan's Big Six, and then this.
Yeah, I would say there are a few. One, the fourth quarter against Illinois in the rain, the student section singing Mr. Brightside. That was magical.
No.
I would also say the game against Iowa, because that was kind of one where I was on the field afterwards, sitting in the end zone, writing a column in a daze because I didn't know what had just happened. Going to Eugene after being chirped by Bryant Haynes on Twitter and watching them beat Oregon, which I did not think was possible, quite frankly. And that kind of personifies the whole season, me getting chirped by Bryant Haynes on Twitter, because it's so absurd you wouldn't even think.
care to share with the
that
audience.
it's true. So the conclusion to the Bryant Haynes story, back in October, I said that Indiana was on average like 45 pounds smaller than
Nick,
Oregon.
I think everyone knows what you did.
Hey, you get
I think everybody knows what you
So
did.
in the breakout rooms after Indiana wins the national championship, I asked Bryant Haynes, what would you say to somebody who says, oh, you guys are too small to compete with the big boys on these kind of stages? And he says, well, you measure weight, but you can't measure heart. And as we are walking out, Coach Haynes is going back to the bus, I presume. I congratulate him, and he says, hey, good to see you. Next year we'll get bigger for you. And again, these are things that if he would have told me 4 years ago, the Indiana defensive coordinator would know who I am and use something that I say for motivation for his team. I'm not obviously taking credit for anything, but I think it's just so ridiculously absurd that it's not going to fully clock to me for a while. This has been an unbelievable ride, and it doesn't get any better than the national championship.
First of all, the Spiro Adidas impression was completely unnecessary. I am the biggest.
Don't finish that sentence. Don't finish that sentence.
honest.
He's not a fan.
Spiro Adidas is not one of my favorite broadcasters. Anyways,
You've got a hater.
since he mentioned the Brian Haynes thing, I think I also have to include the every game, either pre, post, or both, dap up with one Quinn Warren.
I thought you were going
Well, that too, but high school friend kicking in the national championship game. We were friends in high school. I watched him kick on Friday nights, and then, saying hi to him and congratulating him after the national championship. And every step along the way was super cool and full circle. Also, Maverick Geske, Finn Walters, who Buck Jesuit represented on the highest of levels. Yes, he did, and he said hi to me during warm-ups. Anyways.
I would ask about the actual game that just happened, but I've entirely forgotten what happened. Indiana won the football game, schematically wise.
We'll recap later this week.
Yeah,
I got like a rundown.
Do we need to give one?
I
don't know. You know what? You guys have gotten about every inside joke that the beat has, and then some. You got some background on Ian Plaskoff's high school days, and then we didn't even mention Jeff Hutzinger yet. Shout out. That's
Shout out
Nick's
Jeff.
high school background. You got Michigan and Illinois over here. We have no ties to any Indiana high schools in this team. But I think that's really all we can do in this emergency episode is that celebrate Indiana won.
I have some dedications to give out. So
I shouldn't give him this mic.
it's going to be quick.
Don't let go of the mic.
I'd like to dedicate this episode to everybody who said Indiana hasn't played anybody. I would also like to dedicate this Pack the Rock episode. I just had a complete brain fade.
Oh, no.
I know. I would like to dedicate this episode to Richard Lago, to Griffin Oaks. The kick was good. I would like to dedicate this to Michael Penix, Micah McFadden. That targeting call was total BS, by the way. I think I'll dedicate this to also to Sean Shivers, Jalen Lucas, Aaron Casey.
Sure, Lenore Carr.
Linnell Carr Jr. dropped into coverage against Ohio State, by the way.
Big fan of that.
Who else? T. Gray Scales, the late James Hardy, George Taliaferro, and everybody.
And Antoine
Randall, Indiana University. And everybody who believed in this program when very few people did. It's ridiculous, and again, it's not going to fully set in until I am in my office in 15 years like Kurt Signetti and I crack a beer. Probably not Hoosier Game Day, though, because it's not very good.
Wow, that was there you go. Plaskoff's got a moment.
Couple things.
Plask moment.
Yes. I would also like to add to the list anybody that walked back and forth in the overtimes against Akron 3 years ago. Anybody that was in that locker room wearing the black jersey singing the song in the least enthusiastic way of all time.
A lot of dedications.
Isaiah Jones.
Simi Cobbs Jr. was pretty cool.
I forgot Watt.
All the Twitter burners for making this season so much fun. I was relatively new to the Twitterverse 2 years ago, and I fully went in this year with my activity and chronically being online. Thank you, Twitter burners, for being so much fun. Thank you, Nebraska. Thank you, Shalubies.
Can I add to? I'd like to also dedicate this to Watt Fillier and Ty Freifogel. And Jack Tuttle for playing on broken ribs and a separated shoulder in the Outback Bowl.
No, but in all reality, like, Indiana is the largest alumni base in the country, and we happen to be students at this time, and we know that a lot of people that are watching this have been students and missed out on opportunities like this as a student, but it's just as sweet, maybe even more sweet, as a lifelong fan to watch this happen. And bringing you the coverage has been a pleasure, and I really genuinely hope you do enjoy every second of this, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing that you just can't really put into words quite yet.
Do you have any dedications? I might as well ask.
I have no dedications. I know.
With that, I would thank the Twitter burners, but we've already done that. So
Do it again, they deserve it.
Thank you, Carlos Hoosier.
Have we thanked the listeners, all the support? You kind of did. We had a whole class monologue there. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Just one. Shout out Kim. Kim's the best. Kim, if you're watching, there you go.
Yeah, no, shout out the listeners for real.
We thank you all for another great season of coverage. We try our best here. We appreciate any and all support. One more time from the Hard Rock Stadium. We'll cover football, later this week. We'll actually give you a schematic breakdown and talk about the portal and talk about next year, where 3 of us won't be here. We'll hopefully have full-time jobs. Plaskoff, but
that's
hey, we'll get to that.
That's a problem for future.
We'll cross that
we
bridge
didn't need to make
when
that
we get
cut
there.
right now.
I don't want to get a job.
Another win for the road.
I don't want to get a job.
Whoa, we win and you're already talking about this.
Also, late petition. IU needs to officially cancel classes on Tuesday, because even if they don't, nobody's going to show up.
And Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
We'll be on a plane. I don't want to have anything to catch up on. Nobody should go to class. Kirkwood is a freaking zoo right now, and it deserves to be that way.
Here's my final idea. This is your quote-unquote doctor's note from Dr. Pack the Rock. That you have an excuse to miss class, miss school.
Is that like a Dutch name?
Miss work, whatever you got to miss. This is your doctor's note. It's from us.
Just play the video.
Trust me, we have college degrees. At some point in time, we'll at least have one. If that's not good enough, well, Indiana won a natty.
Media, we'll have degrees.
They won a natty.
Media.
That's all that matters. My degree type doesn't matter.
Does this mean I'm credentialed?
Indiana has won the natty. They've gone 16-0. The first ever national championship in Bloomington from the football program, as they won 27-22 here at Hard Rock Stadium.
27-21.
Nobody cares about the
tough.
score. They won.
They won. For Nick Rodecap, Ian Plaskoff, Ava Wegenke, I'm William Stewart for Hoosier Network. Make sure to follow along with all of us for all your Indiana football updates from here on out through the transfer portal and whenever other commitments may happen. And follow along with Hoosier Network for all your Indiana athletics updates and needs. We will see you all next time.